when we have, I don't want to keep you discussing things that are not part of our agenda. I submit the matter to your wisdom, but let me reiterate that this is the position of the African Union. We join the position of the African Union, and that's exactly what we did. Thank you very much.
We're going to conclude indeed, but there will be a vote given the different tendencies in the House. So can we contradict the African Union on this particular issue? I think it's clear that the answer is no. Then I'll give the floor to Zimbabwe later on, please. Has this topic been subject to the discussions of our House? No. And 3, and we need to decide now according to the truth, and the truth is crystal clear regarding the right to self-determination for the Sahrawi people and for all Africans. So we have to decide on the basis of our principles as well. And then, then we will go out from here free with our convictions and with our principles. You should, dear colleagues, decide on the principle. It was appropriate, whereas we have not discussed the matter, that this be integrated in the final communique, despite our personal convictions. And when this question is answered to, I think that this will be submitted to the vote, so that each delegation is able, in all responsibility, to take a position. So Zimbabwe asked for the floor. You have it.
Thank you, Chair. When we are talking about a continental parliament, that continental parliament must include the peoples of Africa. And the missing peoples of Africa in this envisaged continental parliament is Western Sahara. When they are given the chance to express their self-determination, that self-determination must lead to the establishment of a sovereign parliament, which must be part and parcel of us as PAP. And this is not in this does not contradict in any way Article 17 of the Constitutive Act of the African Union. It is very clear. And when you refer to the African Union, you cannot exclude Western Sahara in order for that country and the people to have their self-determination and establish their own parliament, which must be part of PAP.
So this issue, even though it's a relevant one, is incorporated in our final communique, whereas it has not been discussed. So is there a consensus? Regarding my question now, or the question I raised on the fact that the final communique is referring to a relevant issue, but which has not been discussed. What do you think of this remark? Burundi, you have the floor. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I think that you have fully understood my concern. I do not intend, and Burundi does not intend, to question and challenge the resolutions of the African Union, of course, far from it. But the question is whether we have the right to include an issue that has not been discussed in a final communique. Otherwise, we can just associate to other decisions that have been made by the African Union for other countries. For instance, the sending of foreign troops to Burundi. Are we to include this to this final communique as well? Therefore, of course, we do recognize the importance of the issue, of the matter, and the cause of the Sahrawi. But this has not been debated here. This is the issue.
Oui, vous avez la parole.
You have the floor.
Chairman, I would have thought that we should have listened to and accepted what the president of PAP has said. The case of Burundi is recent. The issue of Western Sahara has been on for so many years. Indeed, it was not part of our discussion. But I want to say here that we of the Pan-African Parliament who have always had very strong passion and sympathy for the people of the Western Sahara. And let it be known here, as the Speaker of Zimbabwe rightly said, very rightly said, the Western Sahara is a part of Africa. And believe me, our talk of African unity, our talk of integration of Africa will never be complete if a country that is African is left out. That is all. We'll listen to what the president of PAPA said.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I just wanted to remind ourselves of the long history of the African Union. I wanted us to remember that Kwame Nkrumah was prepared to delay the independence of Ghana until other African countries were liberated. I wanted to remember the contribution of Julius Nyerere and the frontline states on the independence of many of the states in Southern Africa. And we used to talk about them before they became independent. How can we keep quiet when just one more child is not independent? I think we must, whether we talked about Sahara or not, let us not forget that they are there. Let us continue hammering that issue until they fully become independent. Thank you very much.
Merci. Autre demande?
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is the Republic of Guinea-Conakry. Well, I believe that the problem of Western Sahara is that the Western Sahara is an integral part of Africa. It is as if we say to a person that the person feels well, whereas they do not have any arm or brain. So I think the opportunity offered to this conference to incorporate this recommendation to our draft communique is a real necessity. It is a political necessity. It's a political need. It is indispensable for the smooth march of our institutions, for instance. Therefore, we need, I think, to maintain this paragraph 11 for us to be heard by all the African peoples. Thank you. The question now of the place of our brothers in Africa, this is not questioned. We do agree, this is not challenged. We do agree all. It is a full-fledged member of the African Union, and we should not be redundant. We all agree. It is a matter of principle regarding our mode of operation, even where there is passion at the historical level. I'm from the country of Lumumba, and we are passionate. We have historical passion, but we need to decide, my dear colleagues, on the basis of our principles. And once the obstacle of procedure is lifted, we will decide. I think there is some sort of consensus that has been proposed by the president of PAP. And I'm asking whether there is consensus of what the president has said or not. So I think that we are all in agreement and that we note that even though the subject matter has not been discussed during our meeting, it is maintained in our communique because of the historical approach of this matter, etc. So that we need to maintain it because we are associating ourselves to what has been chosen by the African Union itself. Therefore, this is exactly what I'm asking for, just to agree on the procedure. So apparently we are all in agreement. So even though this has not been discussed, we are maintaining paragraph 11. Is there any objection? Is it an objection? Is there any objection? Regarding the procedure itself, no? Okay, I see none. Now, the proposal of consensus proposed by the President of the Pan-African Parliament, that is that we maintain this paragraph because we only concur with the African Union. And is there an objection to the proposal made by the President of the Pan-African Parliament? I see